Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. It's the first Thursday of the month, which means we're in the kitchen with Across the Fence, and our chefs have prepared 16 delicious soup and casserole recipes. Joining me are Carolyn Peak from Williamstown, along with Deb Plumley and Lynn Jarvis, who are from South Hero. Now, today, one of you lucky viewers will win the 214-page cookbook, The Cooks of Hackett's Orchard. It has more than 350 recipes, all prepared by friends of Ron and Celia Hackett, who are celebrating 50 years of owning and operating their orchard in South Hero. Here's a picture of Ron and Celia. The cookbook is an appropriate tribute to their hard work and dedication to growing high-quality apples in the Champlain Islands. And Deb Plumley is Ron and Celia's daughter. I know you must be very proud about this cookbook.
It was fun. It really was. I love cookbooks. I've always wanted to create one, and I thought for the 50th anniversary of the orchard, it would be a perfect opportunity.
It's great. Thank you so much. Now I know you have a bunch of recipes.
I do.
Okay.
I do. So I want to jump in and share some recipes from the cookbook today. And one of the great things about the cookbook was it's multi-generational. So I had some submissions from folks that said, yeah, this is my mom's recipe or my grandmother's recipe. So I want to start right now with the scalloped pineapple casserole. And this is made with crushed pineapple, eggs, sugar, a little bit of lemon juice. You mix that together, fold in some breadcrumbs, and you bake it in the oven until it's set up and it's nice and toasty brown. And this recipe comes from Jessica Remy of Grand Isle. And Jessica shares that this is actually her mom's recipe, Rita LaValle of the Milton area. They have this often at Easter because it goes so well with ham, but I think with Mother's Day coming up, this would be excellent for a brunch. And you get that great tropical flavor of pineapple in every bite. So I hope you give this one a try. I also want to share with you this recipe from Lee Cole. Lee used to be my neighbor in South Hero. This is a Southern style rice casserole. And this recipe has been shared from Lee's friends in South Carolina to her in-laws, Lee, and now here on Across the Fence. And it is so super easy to make. You take your favorite flavor of long grain rice. I happen to use a brown jasmine flavor. For the liquid, you use an appropriate amount of chicken broth. Mix in some sautéed mushrooms, a little bit of olive oil, and cook it with a couple of bay leaves. And the interesting thing with this rice dish is it's baked in the oven. So you can bake this alongside your chicken, your pork, whatever you want to have with it. And I think the bacon gives it a little bit of added flavor rather than cooking it on the stove top. Now, this is kind of an interesting recipe. It's got a funny name. It's called slumgullion, and it's defined as a concoction with available leftovers. I call it delicious. It's economical. You can vary it depending on what leftovers you want to use up in your kitchen. This particular recipe is made with cooked ground beef, some onions, garlic. You can see in here there are some green beans, carrots, chopped tomatoes. I added some oregano, parsley, anything that you want for seasoning. You can keep it thick. If you'd like it a little thinner, you can add some vegetable or beef broth to it. I like it sprinkled with a little bit of shredded cheese as well, and then warmed up. Now I'm going to step away from the cookbook for my final recipe. Set this over here. And this is from a very faithful, longtime viewer, Virginia Lange of Sheldon, Vermont. And Virginia sends in her recipe for a mashed potato sausage bake. So you boil your potatoes and whip them with chicken broth and sour cream. You put a layer of the mashed potatoes in the bottom of your loaf pan. The filling is very interesting. This is made with sliced kielbasa, mushrooms, onions, and garlic. You cook that well. Put that on top of your first layer of potatoes. Then you top with the remaining potatoes. And this is really where you can have some fun. You can put on some shredded cheese on the top, put on some more herbs and spices. It just smells wonderful in the oven. And Virginia suggests that you serve this perhaps with salad or coleslaw. I think it is very comforting. So thank you, Virginia, for sharing this with us today. And Carolyn, I can see you've got lots of great recipes to share.
I do.
And as usual, you have your crock pots.
Yes, and I'll start off with, oops, no, I guess I won't. I'll start with a different one. I did not have enough of the right crock pots to do all my recipes.
What a shame. I
Yes.
could see a shopping trip. So let me get you.
As long as I go by myself.
So I'll step aside and let you take it from here.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start out with an old favorite, chicken broccoli bake. This one I'm just running it through again. This was one I got from my favorite aunt, Margaret Little in Williamstown. And it is it's very easy because you just take cooked chicken, cooked broccoli, some cream of chicken soup, couple, 3 other things, and you put it in the oven and you bake it. It is so delicious. Aunt Margaret used to serve it with either mashed potato or baked potato, and I made it, instead of doing it in a 9x13, I did it in an 8x8, so I had one for another meal. So that's a really good way to do things. From our good friend Carolyn Bourgeois of Virgins, and Carolyn, someday you and I have got to meet because I've done so many of your recipes. I have hearty chili mac, and it is a hamburg and macaroni and, of course, chili, and just see, there's some tomatoes in there. And you can make that up for it's not really a quick meal because you do it in the crock pot, but you can start it earlier and not have to fuss with it and everything. So if you like a chili type soup, type casserole, that's the one for you. So thank you, Carolyn, for sending that in. Then, now this one, when we were talking about the crock pots, this is supposed to be done in an oval-shaped crock pot because part of it is done in the oven. Well, I don't have an oval-shaped crock pot with a removable liner, so I had to just kind of finagle things down and do it in a round dish. But again, I was able to make 2 containers of it, and it's chicken, or the chicken thighs, boneless chicken thighs, mixed vegetables, and then you put the biscuits on top, and that's when you put it in the oven to bake the biscuits. The rest of the time it's in the crock pot. But it's a nice vegetables and meat sort of a meal. You're all set with plenty of things for that. Now, another one that I have is down here in the front, and this is cheeseburger soup. And it's ground beef, there's onions, carrots, celery, potatoes, all kinds of good stuff like that. And you just cook that in the crock pot or in a soup container, soup kettle on the stove. And you've got a really nice thick soup that you can serve when the days get cold again. That'll work great. Now, finally, for dessert, I have a hot fruit casserole. This is a layer of dried apricots, sliced peaches, chunked pineapple, applesauce with some spices in it. You bake it, and it is, they say serve it hot with the meal. I think you could serve it as a dessert because there's lots and lots of fruit in there, and you can just really enjoy that. So, there's mine, Lynn.
Oh, does that look good?
Yes, it does.
Where did you find that recipe?
On the internet.
Good for you.
Yes, I get a lot of my recipes off the internet now.
Well, that's good, because I have just so many old recipes from the past I haven't, once in a while, but not often.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to begin with a soup recipe that will take you about 10 minutes to make, believe it or not. And here it is. It's my hot dog bean soup. And it can be made in the microwave. It can be made on the stovetop, or believe it or not, over a campfire. Now in here, there's the hot dogs that I mentioned, along with kidney beans, minced onions, and some water, but I use milk because I like my soup a little bit thicker. And as you can see, this is a nice, rich, robust soup, and this is one of those quick recipes. If you've been working in the yard all afternoon or doing your laundry, you can go to the kitchen and whip this up and have a great meal that will only take, as I said, about 10 minutes. A hot dog bean soup. Now I want to move on to my next recipe, and this is made right in a skillet. And if you take a look at it, it's a little dry from the trip down, but you can see how nice it looks. It's my chicken, broccoli, and mac and cheese with bacon. And doesn't that sound good? And it really is. It's a very nice recipe. Again, quite easy to make. And all of the ingredients that I mentioned are mixed with a low-fat milk, chicken stock, and flour. And it's not only delicious, but it's good for you. Just 343 calories per serving. And I got the recipe from Cooking Light magazine a couple years back. Now my viewer recipe comes from Judy Morgan over in Berlin, Vermont, and she sends us quite a few recipes, which we really enjoy. It's her Canadian cheese soup. And just take a look. Oh, no, this is not the one. This is my bean soup. That's coming later. Here's her soup. And you can see it looks quite a bit different. So this is her Canadian cheddar soup. It's a hearty and tasty soup. It's made with Vermont cheddar, chicken stock, diced onion, butter, cream, and Canadian bacon. And everything is cooked right on the stove, so you don't have a lot of pots and pans to clean. And I'm going to garnish it with some croutons and a little Canadian bacon that I've chopped up. Now, doesn't that look delicious? Again, it's from Judy Morgan over in Berlin, Vermont, and we thank her for sharing that recipe. Now I'm going to move on to my ham and vegetable cobbler here. And again, this is easy to make. All the recipes that I'm showing you today are quite easy to make. I know this is a very busy time of year. Spring is coming and you want to be out working on your yard and getting your gardens ready. So you'll enjoy this recipe. It's made with frozen peas and mushrooms. Now I couldn't find frozen peas and mushrooms in my store, so I just got a package of frozen peas and a can of mushrooms and mixed them together. It's also made with crinkled carrots, frozen crinkled carrots, ham, flour, and milk. And it's topped with a lattice crust. As you can see, you bake it at 450 for about 40 minutes, and you are in for a treat. As I said, it's quick and easy to make, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And we're looking forward to digging into it here just as soon as the show is over. Now, my last recipe is coming up here, and it's an elegant recipe. It's my cream of peanut soup. And I don't know if many of you have heard of this before, but it's a very delicious, easy to make recipe, and it's actually the signature recipe from the King's Arm Tavern in Williamsburg, Virginia. And along with peanut butter, believe it or not, in here you'll find onion, celery, light cream, and chicken stock. And as I said, there's peanut butter in here, and there's about 2 cups of peanut butter, and it's all simmered together in a large skillet so you don't have a lot of dishes. And just before serving, you want to sprinkle some peanuts over the top. And I like crushed peanuts because I think they kind of taste a little bit better. And Judy, I'm all set here, and I have a spoon ready for you to try this just as soon as the show is over.
Terrific. I can smell all the peanuts. Great. Yes. Now, if you want to get a copy of all the recipes that we've shown you, there are a couple of different ways to do that. This afternoon, you can go online to the Across the Fence website, go to uvm.edu/extension, and click on the link to Across the Fence. You'll find the recipes on the left side of the web page. To get the recipes by mail, send $2 in a stamped, self-addressed business-size envelope to Casserole and Soup Recipes, Box 188, South Hero, Vermont, 05486. Please remember, if you're ordering the recipes, to include $2 in a stamped, self-addressed envelope. Your envelope will be used in the drawing for the Hackett's Orchard Cookbook. And even if you're not ordering today, you can still enter the free drawing. Just send along your name and address. Good luck to all of you. Many thanks to our chefs for all of their time to prepare and present these delicious recipes. And I'm happy to say that they'll be back in the kitchen on June 1st with foods for eating light and special needs. In the meantime, with Mother's Day coming up May 14th, we extend our best wishes to all of you moms out there. I'm Judy Simpson. We'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.